All right, Mr. Donpairion, welcome to the show.
Hey man, thanks for having me.
Of
It's
course.
my first time on I think a podcast. I think I've done so many podcasts myself interviewing people and it's fun to talk to somebody else doing interviewing others,
For
you know.
sure. I think I saw online that you did like 44 last year of your own podcast episodes, something like that.
Yeah, just about 'cause now I'm at 93
That's,
um
yeah.
over all the years or 3 years, yeah.
Man, I'll get there one day. I'm just starting. But again, we were just talking about this, and I'm just doing this to catch up with people and just like, talk about music and just put good energy into the space, you know? So it's been fun. But a little bit about you. I would love to just start with how you got started. I know you have your record label, you produce, you DJ, you're in the house and techno space. How did you
Mm-hmm.
get involved with electronic music and how did you get started?
So I got started with electronic music back in like 2013. I think I really got inspired by it and became, I guess you could say, a festival
Hmm.
goer. And the festivals, like, it's crazy. I think back on it, I'm like, from 2013 to 2019, I don't know why it didn't really occur to me that like I wanted to be a producer. Because it really didn't. At that time, I can honestly say it didn't occur to me once. I just always thought they were extremely cool musicians of some sort, talented with music. They could DJ it out, they could produce it, and I was big into like bass music and Wakan and I guess like Boogie T and like a bunch of cool I mean Ganja White Knight, a bunch of cool dub artists and bass music, and yeah, that's really where I got into it. Like, oh, I love Grizz so much and Troy Boy and Zed's Dead, and so that really led me into like trying to make some bass music when I was getting into it. I think I was watching Wooly. I was watching this like track from scratch by Wooly, and it was just like it was very bare bones. It was like a 3 hour long, like I think YouTube video, and it just like built things in it. I was like, oh, that's how you place the drums for like dubstep arrangement. And yeah, it was those little things that I got that little gratification out of that I was like, okay. And so then I was finding, just in 2019, I started to try to find resources. I found, what was the name of them? I'm trying to remember the name of them, but they're basically like an online school. They had tutorials, they had coaches.
Hmm.
Um, and now they have something I like to use called kick and bass. But Defier Society. That's what it
Yes.
was before Defier. It was really good. And did you hear about Defier before?
Yeah, I'm familiar. I'm familiar. And there's so many of those communities popping up now online that are able to help up and coming producers and even people that are just getting started. Like I
Yes.
started producing like I think like almost 10 years ago now, and there were many fewer, you know, um resources for producers getting
Right.
started. And but now it's everywhere. I mean, you can go on YouTube and search for anything. It's crazy.
And it's really empowering, because, the only thing holding you back from learning something new or, is really yourself, just one question away. And then if you can't find it, it's good to have, community and like, anybody who has the knowledge and is in like some, group of producers would love the question of like asking some technical question and them knowing it. Like every producer likes to be asked a question that like, oh yeah, I know how to do that actually. And so it's like we're all trying to grow and learn, and it's good to ask each other questions.
That's what it is. And I think some people have the view of sometimes seeing music as competitive or like comparing themselves to other people. And I think that's the wrong
Oh
way to
yeah.
look at it. When really, like you said, I mean, you're the only thing stopping yourself getting started. So like if you are trying to compare yourself, I try to compare myself to me yesterday, if that makes sense. I'm not trying to
Hmm.
outwardly compare to somebody else. I'm trying to say, hey, am I bettering myself from yesterday? And that goes with music, with anything,
Yeah.
going to the gym, just being a good person. Like I try to, you know, I try to do it internally versus externally, if that makes sense.
Yes, yeah, because making sure you're internally right with yourself is so important. I feel like I'm one of routine, and once I get like in my routine of the morning, I have I have really good rhythm of the day, and I love just getting the day going. It's those mornings where I'm like, oh, it's okay, just go a little slower, and I just it's nice. I like giving myself that grace because it's so important. But at the end of the day, I'm like, man, you gave yourself grace and you didn't get this done, and it's like, all right, so how much? It's just finding the balance of how much grace to give yourself.
Right,
You know, because you internally you know yourself the best, right?
right,
And you should set goals that, I like setting goals that like I can focus on. It really is an intense thing telling other people about your goals. Um, yeah, some people like to, get into a group and tell everybody their goals, which is, I think it's good for like reassurance and like, accountability. But then now somebody else is like, I think at the end of the day, you held yourself accountable more than anybody else will,
right.
right?
And some people are into manifestation too. So like talking into the universe, I understand that as
That is
well.
true.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's I don't know, routine is something that I'm trying to get into too, because like my weekends are crazy, and then like during the week I'm in the
Yeah.
studio, and that's like Monday, Wednesday, Friday is where, or sorry, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday is where I like have my regular routine that I try to stick to, like, wake up, go to the gym, cook, whatever it is. And then the
Right.
weekends, it's just out the window. Like I try to go to the gym and stuff, but I'm on the road, so it's like you're on a bad sleeping schedule, and like it makes everything
The
harder.
energy.
Yeah.
Yeah, the energy's different. Yeah, and I mean, I've been fortunate to be, stationary here in Austin,
Mhm.
and that traveling musician artist type of lifestyle is something that I'd be really interested one day to get into. I'd be interested like how long would I do that?
Mm.
Would I like find a way to like make it work and then it like, becomes just some like how I make my money? Like that'd be interesting.
Yeah, like I personally, for me, I was always worried about like burnout just physically from being gone all the
Yeah.
time, being on the road, like it's a lot. But I've found
Hmm.
that being able to reinvent myself, which I think you've seen through a lot of my releases on your label and just following me online, like
Yeah.
my sound has changed progressively for as an example. But like for
Hmm.
me, putting new music into my sets, trying different styles, like keeping it fresh has really helped me kind of see it from a new perspective every time I do that.
Hmm.
So like, because
Hmm.
if I was playing the same stuff every night, I would get bored so fast. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But like,
Yeah.
I try to switch it up every weekend, and like if I'm playing different places, I try to change my set from one night to the next just to like at least have a few new songs. You know what I mean? Just to like switch it
Yeah.
up. So that's helped me in that sense. But I don't
Yeah,
know. It's
same here with like me and a new set. Every time I do a new set, even if I think like maybe these people haven't heard like the songs that I played at my last set, but I know I need to like download like 7 new tracks just to make me feel like I have like something new in the mix, you know. Maybe I'm not writing 7 new tracks, but I definitely like to find about 7 new tracks per set.
yeah.
It makes me feel like I got something fresh.
I'm the same way. Like if I'm in Atlanta and if I play in Atlanta one night and then I play in like Charlotte, North Carolina the next night, I'm like the
Mhm.
people in Charlotte probably weren't in Atlanta last night to hear the same set. So like I could play the same set if I wanted to, but there's something in me that's like no, like I've got to at least bring something new here, whether it's like a new intro track, a handful of new stuff that I found, like some edits or whatever, just to like spice it up, even for me.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, and I like mixing it up. I play a lot of like tech
Hmm.
house and soulful house and sometimes progressive house too. I play about 3 or 4 progressive house tracks just because it always like feels good to me. In different parts of the set.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, I what kind of music do you ever play any progressive house or is it a
So
lot of techno
funny
and tech
story.
house?
I got into production through Dead Mouse was the first person that really got me into it. And like back in the day,
Oh,
like
nice.
2008, 2009, it was like the progressive house boom, you know? So there was like a
Yeah, yeah,
lot
yeah,
of
yeah.
like I don't know, the eighth note plugs and everything all over the place.
Porter
So yeah,
Robinson.
so that's like where I started. And I'll
Mhm.
sneak one or two in there like whether it's a remix or whatever, but something that like throws back to that time. Like, I don't know,
Yeah.
I'll still play like a language remix, Porter Robinson, like here and there, like stuff like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, but my sets differ hugely. Like this past weekend,
Mm.
I play a lot of techno and I've been playing a lot of bass as well, like dubstep. It's crazy. Like hard techno and dubstep go so well together. But then like there's
Yeah.
parts of the set where I'm playing like 160 trance, like bouncy stuff, or like some
Wow.
house, or like drum and bass. Like it varies night to night. But that's what keeps it fun. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
still haven't put a label on it. I know that like what I make, what I produce personally right now is 160 BPM hard techno with like a dubstep
Mhm.
drop or like a trap drop. Cause like that,
Yeah.
I really like the four on the floor juxtaposing the like halftime rhythm of the drums. You know what I mean? Like,
It, it's a very I mean it's kind of like I mean, almost like it's like it's just like an aggressive like fast feel like I mean yeah, yeah, yeah. Techno, that hard techno, yeah, right? Like aggressive, fast, kind of.
it's yeah, like it's just very the kick drum is like the main thing, and then there's like elements
Yeah,
around
yeah,
it, if that makes sense.
yeah, 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 yeah. How have the different locations like where you? Yeah, I'm back. I don't know what
Nice.
just happened
I don't know. We're
there.
good. I'm not gonna question it. We're all good. We're gonna keep it rolling. Um, you were
Um,
asking the different locations?
yeah, I was asking about different locations. Like, do you play any hard techno like in your like around Atlanta, Georgia, or like yeah, or where do you play hard techno?
All over. So I've been experimenting with it because like you never know how the crowd is gonna react. So far, so
Yeah.
good. Like I find that as long as it's a remix where like somebody knows the song and they can kind of sing along and like they know what's happening, they can relate it to like something they're familiar with. So then whatever the drop is doesn't really matter. Like they'll go along with it if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. That makes sense. Yeah, I've never been able to. I played a dubstep set when I was younger,
Mm.
when I started off, but I've never played a techno set. Recently I've just, yeah, I've played a lot of house sets. Recently I played at Totes for this traveling party that was called Fantaski,
Mm.
and they had like ski lodge theme type of setting, fake snow. They had ski shots and they had dancers dressed in ski outfits. It was really fun. Yeah. Um, and there was this headliner that I haven't heard of before, but they're a tech house duo that goes by Ski Tour,
Okay.
and yeah, it was interesting. They're super. Um, Fun, a little generic, but really fun.
Yeah,
Uh, it's
I
different.
I that reminded me. I played a an event like that. I don't know if it was ski themed or what it was, but they had fake snow where I don't know what your
Yeah,
fake snow was like, but they basically
and it had soap and alcohol.
oh, okay, okay. So mine was low budget. My party did packing peanuts just all
Wait,
over,
what?
like
No,
filled the room with like crushed packing peanuts. And
no.
guess who
Yeah.
had to
Oh
load
my
their
God.
equipment in? We brought in lights, we brought in all this stuff. at the end of the night, everything was covered in packing peanuts. Like,
Packing peanuts. Oh my gosh.
like I was
That is ridiculous.
I was packing peanuts out of equipment for like months. It was crazy.
I was like, how do you get this? Yeah, like the soap, like I guess the stuff that we were using just kind of dissipates, like
That makes
but
sense.
the packing peanuts, they do not dissipate.
No. Yeah, I think I saw that event on your Instagram. You're promoting it.
Yep. Yeah. I've been trying a couple new things, trying to keep videos fun to post, and like I've been trying new edits. I have been weary about like getting into as I've gotten into more content editing,
Mm,
like I've been weary of getting into AI content editing because it kind of just like it looks cool, right? But you're like, all right, well, like. All right. I don't know. I've seen things where they like have a remote and they like throw it out and it bounces out into a wheel that bounces into the car that's
mm.
being put together. And it could be any car, and you just ask it, you have a prompt that you plug it into this, AI video editor. It starts with an H, GGT or something, dot AI. But yeah, I was just like, okay, this is interesting. What route do I take? Do I take the organic cap cut, like, masking, layering, doing some interesting, fun stuff, or do I like do some AI video editing and like, spend my energy there? Because where your where your attention goes, your energy flows. Is that
That's
right?
right.
Yep.
That's right.
So I am like trying to be wary of where I put my attention because there's a lot of little things that you're like, oh, that's creative, that's cool, I want to do that. But you're like, all right, does it make sense to go
Right.
this and to spend time doing this?
With the AI thing, I feel like it saves time for sure, and it could be good for helping you come up with ideas, but I wouldn't
Yeah,
I wouldn't use it as like the main thing. Like I would still go back to doing it myself. I would maybe use it as like a starting point, like, oh, I could do something similar to this, and then kind of go back and make that myself is kind of how I would handle it. Um, but I
yeah.
can see it being good for productivity just because you can make stuff so quickly with it.
You can make some really cool stuff really quickly. Um, yeah, it's like the elevated video editing. Like not so much just like asking it to like create me a video, but more like asking it to do specific editing stuff, like that whole bounce the wheel out
Hmm.
into putting a car together. It's a specific prompt, but it's like, they still have to go out, shoot the video a certain way, shoot the hand with the remote in a certain way, just like I do, like if you were to like set up some of these like video edits you do like with cap cuts or something.
Right.
Uh, I do a lot of cap cut editing just on my phone. I probably should do it on my laptop.
I think everything's on your phone nowadays. You know what I mean? For the most part.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So to get it back to music, so we were talking producing and DJing. What came first for you?
Came first was the DJing,
Mm,
and it was just for like about a year, and I was just in my bedroom. Somebody gave me a little DDJ We Go Pioneer, and I was just like, I had just bought in Serato, and I was learning how to like, mix songs, and I was like thinking it was so cool, and I would stay back and not go out, and I would just like DJ and stuff. And yeah, I was like, yeah, I really want to. And it was very, very quickly when after starting to DJ, about 6 months in, that I was like, oh, I really want to make this. I'm not gonna go and just DJ. I'm gonna learn how to make music. So that's when I immediately started to learn how to produce and got Ableton. Yeah.
that's awesome. I feel like a lot of people miss that step, or like they get into DJing and that becomes their full-time gig, but then they hit a
Oh, yeah.
ceiling and then they're like,
Mhm.
what else can I do with this? And I think the answer to that is producing, because that helps you level up and get to that next, stage in your career, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it makes it's because like DJing, you can buy your way into DJing, but you can't really buy your way into being a producer.
That's very true. That's a good point. I haven't thought about that before. But yeah.
I've seen people my entire life that were like maybe just a little cooler than me, maybe had a little more money than me, and they just like were a little bit more popular than me. And those guys are great DJs. You just go out and they're just like very popular. And then some people really build their, popularity over time through their skill and then being a good person. I
Hmm.
feel like people really like good people. And I'm not ragging on people who have money or they're popular or whatever, but it's a little easier for those people to throw a party and
Sure.
people show up
Sure.
and you're the life of the party, you're a DJ,
Right.
cool. Um, but yeah, that it can be bought a little bit easier than I think the producer journey.
Yeah, I think what you said there, being a good person is like the most important part of it. I mean, that's what I strive for anyway. Like I always keep that as like my baseline, you know what I mean? And then anything else
Oh
is a
yeah.
plus. But like nobody wants to work with somebody who's, not a good person. That's one thing I've learned.
That's true. That's very true. I think producing is it was one of the healthiest habits I ever like got into. I say that because it's like you can't really go out all the time and be a producer. You kind of got to be very intentful with your time because you're trying to do really big things and everything. You're like you're not sure. You write one song. It's never just one song. You're like you want to have like 10 songs in the bank. And if you don't have 10 songs in the bank and five of them working and, maybe sending them off to the labels and, you know, and staying on top of your gigs, like, it takes a lot to keep it all flow. So yeah, I think being very intentful with the time is so hard.
It definitely begins to snowball too. And like I've found myself struggling with like work-life balance, because what I would do is like during the week I would be studio time and I'd be producing the whole time, and then the weekend I'm off playing shows and I come back and it's studio time again. So like I've kind of been learning to give myself grace there too, and kind of like just slow down a little bit and also
Mhm.
enjoy, my time and make new hobbies. And because I've been so laser focused and like that hasn't changed, but I'm still opening up to like, new stuff as well.
Yeah, like man, something that I saw recently that I had no idea because when I met you, you had your hair looking like this, like you had long highlighter hair at some point in time, man. Like I had no idea until like about a week ago. I don't know where I saw this. I think it was a post you made.
About my haircut.
Oh, yeah, yeah, you had like long highlighter
Oh yeah,
hair,
oh
like
yeah, okay. So that
totally different look, man. Like
yeah, so just for the listeners, that was a post that I made from like working at this for 10 years basically, and we met a couple years ago and I had only just cut my hair. But for the past 10 years, I had shoulder length, like highlighter yellow hair. Before that, it was every color under the sun. Um, and I got sick of it. Like it was time. Like it was great as a branding thing. Like, you couldn't lose me in a crowd. Everybody saw me, but like it was just so much maintenance and like I was just sick of it. I needed to change, so I just cut it off and I've just been rocking the buzz cut since then.
Yeah, I was like, no way, man. I had no idea. I would never have guessed.
Right. Yeah, I had that haircut for a while. It was I mean, it was cool. It was fun. But like again, I mean,
Yeah,
I was having to like get it done like every few weeks, you know what I mean, to have it looking good. And like I don't
yeah.
know. I guess it could technically be like a write-off for the business, but like um
It totally could be. Totally could be.
so
Yeah.
you got into DJing and you learned you wanted to produce, you start putting out music. Do you go SoundCloud? Do you go straight to Spotify?
I went straight to SoundCloud
Mm,
first, yep, and was releasing a couple of originals and DJ mixes. No, my first things were DJ mixes and some mashups, and I was making the mashups in Serato. Like I would record a part of this transition, and I would take that, and then I would record another transition over that, and so then I would have like a mashup of the two songs. And it made sense to me,
mm,
but I didn't have Ableton yet. And so then I was just recording these DJ mixes and putting some stuff on SoundCloud and like making like a road to Lost Lands because I like loved Lost Lands or like I don't think I was going to any other or Road to Base Canyon because I loved like just me and my buddies like I was just stuff we would listen to like maybe I was like hey man I made a DJ mix you want to listen to it like God, man, the oh my gosh, the bleeding that I did to people's ears back then, who knows what I was putting together, but it was probably decent,
yeah,
maybe.
I feel the same way. I mean, I when I got started, I just had a little board in my house and I would invite friends over, like me and two or three people, and like we would just all take
Ah,
turns like playing songs. We didn't know what we were doing, you know what I
yes,
mean? But like that's
yeah.
how it starts.
That's how it started. And so I put these DJ mixes on and I learned to produce a little bit and I was under this thing called Alpha Trap
Mm,
and that was my first project. And I thought the Alpha Trap was like, about like, beating the trap of, wanting more. And just you can't beat the alpha of the finance market. It was more of a finance term.
okay.
Um, it's thinking that you can beat the alpha is really a trap.
Mm,
That's what investors do, is that they're constantly trying to beat the alpha in their investment and like in the stock market. And so it was interesting concept, kind of cool. It was a bass one, and I released like an EP, like a 4-track EP in like May of 2020. Yeah. And then in 2021, I think it was in 2020. No, I had learned how to produce for I think a year and a half actually.
mm,
So I think it was 2021, like May, that I like released this like first EP after like a year and a half of producing. And I felt confident enough. It still wasn't all there. I put it on Spotify through DistroKid and I got through that. And after that, I think I actually had an Instagram hack and I was just about to change to like a new project, Donpairion.
hmm
And so my Instagram got hacked and I started up a brand new Instagram. I started up Donpairion in the summer of 2021 and just went into making music and moved to Long Beach, California for 2 years and was learning how more, I was just online learning all the time and also getting very inspired being out in Southern California with all that energy. The beach was right there on the beach in Long Beach, was going out quite a lot and going to many festivals and many hot spots in LA. So I was having a lot of fun, and I was realizing like there's a lot of people that are just making something out of nothing out here, and they're just very driven, creative people, and I took that energy and I brought it back with me to Texas and said, I think Austin was a place that made more sense for me. And so in 2023, I moved back to Texas, right outside Austin, and I came back in 2024. Keep in mind, I was just continuously practicing my writing, and I was just practicing and learning, writing new stuff. And then it was like at the end of 2023, pretty much all of 2024, I kind of like stopped like learning, so to
Mm,
say. Um, I started to just write all the time, you know? Um, and I found like a confidence in my writing, which was good. And then in 2025, I had picked up all this like rhythm and velocity from running my PH7
mm,
and doing a podcast every Wednesday and doing releases twice a month, doing that for 24 months straight. It had me left off at the end of 2025 a little bit. Like I wrote 4 tracks in 2025 or I released 4 tracks. I wrote like about five.
mm,
And I felt like I was on a projection, like I was to write more music and have like a lot more music to send to people and send to other labels. But as I focused on my own label and signing other music and releasing, it took me a little bit away from my own like artistry, which was a learning lesson. And when it took me away from my own artistry, I went to sit down recently and I felt a little bit, I don't know, it's like I was missing a little bit in that moment. I can definitely break past it. Like I'm not creative blocked, but I was like, wow, man, this is I felt a little stale. I was like, it wasn't coming to me as quickly as it was at one point. And it's just like I just need to go swim like 5 laps or something. And I'm like, okay, this feels nice. This feels good. Um, yeah, more time is better. That's why I was today. I was spending time working with this track, trying to get it to the final mix state
mm,
and making sure the vocalist agreed with every part of what she's saying. Sometimes the vocalist, like we're 4 or 5 months out and we're trying to lock it down within 2 months because I like to be 2, 3 months out to put a song out. And sometimes the vocalists think their vocals are like a little pitchy in some areas and they want to redo it or something. And it's like, all right. And then you're like, man, I just freaking like mixed it all in and mastered it.
it's
But
it's
let's go.
yeah, it's the quest for perfection when really like
I know.
it's
And I actually got torn apart by a producer group on Thursday. Not torn apart, but I mean, like in a way. I mean, they're so nice about it. But yeah, this song that I wrote with this vocalist. Um, they had a lot to say about the vocal
mm,
and how she didn't really fit the song, and how she was very pitchy in certain areas, and that I need to be a little bit more vocal and like really speak up because I typically don't speak up. I'm like, well, I mean, like, it's kind of like an artistic way she's saying
mm.
it. Maybe it is pitchy. Is that a bad thing? Um, I don't know. What do you think about sometime working with a vocalist and having and then be pitchy? I guess it does it depend?
I think everything is subjective. I mean,
Yeah,
we're making art at the end of the day. Uh,
yeah.
I think there's a line where like if you're just way off in left field, I mean, if you're trying to stay within a key, I feel like that can be important, but there's some cultures where that isn't really, focused on. So it really depends on the situation, I feel like. Um, I mean, Yoko Ono, for example, she kind of broke all the rules. She comes to mind. Um, but like I don't know. You mentioned a lot there. I kind of want to break it down a little bit. Um, I feel like a change of scenery, like you moving to Long Beach, can be great for motivation and just inspiration and being around creative people and just like something different can really help bring out that creativity. Um, I think that moving back or moving outside of Austin can also do that in a different way, where like it's familiar, but also I just feel like any change of scenery, with me, with my creative process, for example, like if I go somewhere else, I'm like ready to work. I feel like I need to move around a little bit. I don't know what it is. Or like going to the gym, being active, like you mentioned, like swimming laps. I don't know if that was a metaphor or like literally, but like even that, just getting up and moving around, like that helps me so much. I don't know what it is about it. I don't know if it just gets my brain working or I take my mind off of whatever project I'm working on. But that's
Yeah,
huge. um,
yeah.
you mentioned your label. So when does that come into the fold? You started producing, and then how late into that process, or when in that process did the label come about? Were you releasing your own tracks on your label, or did you work with other labels and then decide to start your own?
Right. Yeah. I actually worked with just a couple small labels in Austin. And after releasing, with one and then another one, I wanted to release an album. And so then I released it under PH7 Records. And after that, I thought about, inviting others on it because I thought it would be a good way to connect with other people. And I found a couple ways to get my music heard. And so then I was like, well, let's see if I can. I wanted to get good at promoting music and get really familiar with the process because then I would get better at it if I was really familiar with it. Because then I would come up with ideas of like, oh, this works, this doesn't work, and so yeah, it was a venture to rinse and repeat, repetition, get better at something I wanted to be better at myself. So it definitely did that for me. I was releasing so much more than I would have ever released just by myself. So it gave me those experiences of working with others. And at the end of the day, I became very grateful because it's like I know that people are working with me and I do all this work for them and they're like, Donovan, it's a good thing you do all that work. And I feel so grateful because I feel like I get to be a part of somebody else's journey, like I get to be let in, which everyone like doesn't let everybody in because not everybody's really kind. You kind of got to be protective of your space, but to be let in on stuff that people are like, it's an intimate space, music. Like you write this song and it's like you're helping like partnership on this art piece that you're like sending out. It's a cool thing.
I agree. My label, because I started my own last year as well, and
Yes.
it brought about collaboration in a similar way. Like besides just working on music, I'm helping people who might not have had releases in the past get their music out there, kind of learn the process of releasing a record. I like
Yeah.
to share my marketing advice that I've picked up over the years to help people get more streams because I do a lot of like advertising for my music. Um,
Yeah.
I mean, just making creative stuff, making the artwork, I mean, all of that. It's huge, and a lot of people don't think of what else goes into a release besides just making the song.
Right. It's a lot. There's a lot of know-how. There's a lot of tribal language, tribal language I would call it,
Hmm.
how you pass it along, this is how, yeah, and then you talk to somebody, one of your friends, they're like, this is how I do it, and then you're like, okay, I'll try that. There's so many things I get marketed to on Instagram of like, how to build this or how to do that. And I am one to adapt to technology, but I think like I like if you were asking me a personality test, I'd be like, yeah, I adapt. I adapt really quick. But I think realistically, I think I adapt just a little bit slow to
Mm.
like new technology coming through the door. Like I haven't really upgraded my email to like an AI email box that can like help me write my emails and like respond on certain like demos that come in or whatever so that I'm always prompt. That would be great.
I think
It exists. I see these things. They're marketed to me. I'm like, come on. Yeah, get with the times, Donovan. Yeah. There's a constant there is running the record label a constant pressure to do more. Yeah, there's always it's like I didn't I almost didn't need more pressure because I'm always pressuring myself to do more. But now I put this whole pressure of a whole label on myself, which I think the label, you make a fire like as big as you want it to be in your head. It's like, not everyone's like staring up at you, Donovan. Like people are like, oh, they appreciate you wrote this partnership on this track at that time. Maybe you do something with it in the future. Maybe you don't. But I think the pressure is like um it's a reflection. So if they're not really putting pressure on you and it's just you, then it just turns into like, wow, no, I'm grateful to like have this community, this connected community. What can I do to connect this community more? And then it fuels me. Then I'm not pressured anymore. I'm just like inspired. I'm like, I have to be here. I have to do this. I have to continue. Yeah.
I agree, and I think for me at least, having separate or different outlets helps fuel that community. So like for example, with music and making producing music, DJing, having a label, doing the podcast, all these things are different branches of community and they reach people in different ways. But like
Oh, yeah.
it having more than one, branch, let's say, is better than just one, I think, because you're able to amplify your message or your reach or whatever your goal is, whatever you're trying to do.
Hmm.
Instead of looking at it as pressure, I would like to look at it as doing more to further your goals, reach new people, help people with their goals, all this stuff because it all compounds at the end of the day and you're able to take it further than you would if you were just producing or just DJing, you know?
Exactly. Like there's so much more, such a bigger lesson to be had with building community rather than being an isolated producer. It's so much better when we're together. It makes a whole lot more sense to that's why bands existed. Like they're just like real all that live time, real time. The producer experience. It should be really real time, live time. Like you don't even need you don't even need an instrument in the room. You could just be on the laptop. Both of y'all going back and forth like at the laptop. I think that's the cool thing about, being a practice skilled producer. And that's why I think it gives me a lot of empowerment when I am this way, because I've seen myself this way as being very quick in the studio and the ideas flowing and being able to write drum lines, write bass lines, write melodies, write leads, stuff that really just is very dynamic, going back into something that really builds on what they did, and I'm putting it forth. Um, it's a skill to sit down and write with somebody for an hour, 3 hours for a studio session.
I've done studio sessions in person and online, and they're both very different. Because like online you
Really?
get the same what's the word? You still get that in-person feel because you're looking at somebody, even if it's through a computer, and you see their
Yeah.
nonverbal and how they react to things and if they like something or not that you're working on. But everybody works so differently that I feel like
Mm,
if you're in person, you can be like, oh, let me help you with that, and like physically, like like say do this, like kind of teach them something or like help them learn something in an easier way, versus through
yeah.
Zoom. Like if you're sharing your screen with somebody, you're like, oh no, like take your mouse like up a little bit to the left, like no, right there. Like it's just it's cumbersome sometimes.
Yeah, I can't, and being in person is very very nice to produce, and that's why I've been trying to look for more Austin producers.
Mhm.
And you find a lot of different people that maybe picked up Ableton and they're writing, but they're not too serious. Some people are very serious, and they're doing and really trying to do their own thing. There's a really cool artist over here I've been watching. One of my friends knows her. Good friends with her. Her name's Imsky. She's
Okay.
this redhead girl that I think she grew up in Austin. She won like a chain smokers like contest of
Mhm.
some sort where she won like 6 months living in New York and had a residency at a
Wow.
club, something. Yeah, I was like, what a thing.
Damn.
Um, so, but yeah, she's back in Austin living, and I see these artists doing like, you know, having their gigs, releasing like, you know, that's a good thing. How many tracks a year do you think is like a good number? I feel like for me, maybe like 5 to 7 really good tracks that maybe one or two of them have a music video.
Mhm. That's one
That'd be
thing.
cool.
That's one thing I haven't stepped into is the music video thing. Um,
I know it would put more of a lore, more of a like um an edge, like I don't know, more of an image, build you out.
yeah. No, for me, I've been doing. I was doing 2 songs a month a couple of years back. So I
Yeah,
did once.
different style,
Yeah,
right?
I did 1 song a month, and then I upped it to 2 songs a month, and I dialed it back when I started my label to 1 song a month because I really wanted to focus on like the quality. Um,
Yeah.
and not that the quality was bad, but I wanted to be able to flush the songs out a bit more, just take a little bit more time to really like make sure I was happy with it. Because like
Yeah.
at the end of the day, I liked every song that I put out, or I wouldn't have put it out. But then like listening back, it sometimes I'm like I could have polished this just a little bit more. But I feel like there's always gonna be that because we're like perfectionists and producers, and we hear all that stuff. Um,
Yeah.
that's a big thing I've been learning as well is that like you know, you're excited about something in the moment and you sometimes have to just let that be what it is. You know what I mean? Otherwise, you're going to be stuck perfecting it forever and it's never going to come out, which is why doing a song a month gives me a deadline because I know, like, okay, I have to have this out by this date, and it's got to be done.
That is It is really good. Yeah, I do like deadlines. That does help me
Mhm.
like, get things done. I really just it's so many things like you like you have an agenda, right? And if you're gonna, set goals for like a month, would it be that you finish the song and the first week, so you can focus on the mix the second week, so you can focus on sending it out and finding the right labels for it, and the third week, and then fourth, you're waiting to hear back, and if you don't hear back, you move on.
Right.
It's such a like process that I just keep on trying, but I feel like I haven't tried in a while. I'm trying. I've just tried recently. Tried what was this? Unlearn Records or something. Um, it's something some label I found that I saw Not Yours release on, and another one of my friends, the Icarus Kid.
Mm.
He lives in LA.
Yeah, I'm familiar with him.
Oh yeah, I met him at Off the Grid through Tristan Chance
Yeah.
actually.
Wow.
Yeah,
Small.
cool
It's
guy.
so funny. I had this talk the other day, but it's we feel like social media makes everything feel so big, but we really do have
Yeah.
such a small community. Like all those people you just mentioned, I have seen. Like I'm familiar, and it's just like what are the odds? You know what I mean? Like we think everything is so big and so out there, but really it's like it's not that big of a community. You know what I mean?
No, I know, right? It is like you go to a big festival, you're like, oh my God, there's so many people
Yeah.
here. And I just say, I want to go to festivals, I really do. And I think I really would love to be booked for some festivals like that is a huge goal. Because I could still be a patron too. You know? But yeah, I really want to know what it feels like to play on a festival stage, and I'm not quite sure how to get there. I know how to be consistent in what I'm doing, um, which is important. I know this, but I don't know how to like get to a bigger festival stage.
In
So,
my experience, it's who you know and networking and just
yep.
working your way in, whether that's like reaching out to people that work the festival or like, volunteering. I've
Mm,
seen people do that. They volunteer at the festival and they meet people and that helps them get a booking or like they get booked on a side stage. Um, for me, it's been other DJs that like put in a good word or like put me in the right
mm,
position to talk to somebody or pass a contact. Um, but I mean, festivals are great. I like when I play them, I like to 2-day festivals. Say I play a Friday, I'll still go on the Saturday and just hang out and like just enjoy the atmosphere because you have like your
uh,
2-day artist wristband or whatever, and you can just like
yeah,
hang out one day and then the second day you wait around all day until you're set and then you do your set and it's fun, but like being in that
yeah.
atmosphere is really cool.
Yeah, exactly. And I'll go to festivals again. I kind of like taking a break from them for about a year now. But I've gone to a couple of concerts here and there. I had a good time. I think the last concert I went to was like Dom Dalla and Abo. It was like on Halloween or something.
Nice.
Yeah, I mean I've had the shows that I've played. I played a show at in Austin in December, and then I played another show in Austin in January. And so yeah, I'd love to get another gig for February, but I haven't oh I did get a gig for February. I did. So I guess my goal is to get a gig for March.
Has that been announced yet, the February gig?
No, it hasn't. I don't think so. Yeah,
Okay.
it's gonna be a cool spot here in Austin.
We'll keep it under wraps for now then.
Yeah,
Um,
I'll keep under wraps. Yeah.
yeah,
Um,
one of my New Year's resolutions was to go to more shows just as a patron to kind of
yeah,
be in the community again. Because like I'm out all the time, but I'm always DJing. You know what I mean? And like that's great, but I feel like I want to be able to support my friends who are DJing. I want to be able to like go at doors and see everybody and like be part of that as well. Um,
right.
Especially now that I'm living in Atlanta, like there's so many opportunities for it. I just gotta find the time where I've got to give myself a free night here and there. You know what I mean? Even if it's like once or twice a month, just to be able to like say hi to people and like be out there as well.
Yeah, it is so important to get out there and just, shake hands, say hellos, give hugs, I mean, it's I mean, why else do we do this?
Right,
It's a medium of connection,
right.
and it's a very fun. I try to remind myself of that too, because you do it a lot. You can't drink all the time, and it's like, why am I standing here on this dance floor with this music pumping at me? Like, why am I not moving?
Mhm.
Like, there's this sense of like this is the entertainment. There's this loud music and there's maybe a visual, but there's lights maybe. And there's this concept of, yeah, you're watching this guy DJ, but it's like it's really getting into the groove and like I do find a lot of appreciation for, dance music and the clubs and the festivals. Um, you know, electronic dance music is freaking great, man. It's so powerful. It can, really get to your nerves because you immediately get a little anxious maybe and like maybe you go like especially like I've been trying to drop and I've made pretty hard commitments to no nicotine this year.
Nice.
And it's like I don't slip up like buying it or anything, but like I've slipped up and like a friend had one and I'm like it's like a Saturday and I was like, fuck. Sorry.
No, you're good.
Man, I was like, all right, just keep on going, keep on going.
Yeah.
Um, but my sleep has been a lot better. I do worry a little bit more. I don't know why. I don't like worry, but like, there's some settling thing about nicotine.
Mm,
Like I could calm me down a little bit. And I'm just talking about like vaping. I never got into the pouches, but
yeah.
like but yeah, I know how bad it was for like my running and like weightlifting and um yeah, even my nerves, my dopamine, because it's like the dopamine pushes of like scrolling and the dopamine pushes of vaping and the dopamine just like constantly like giving yourself something to like to chase. Like it's you're gonna always desire something. And I
Sure.
think it's I was reading this like Rich Dad Poor Dad. Just I love that. I just have to reread it. I think I've read it before, so I feel like I'm rereading it. But it's been so long, and so it feels like it's brand new again, like a fresh story. But it's like some really fun concepts, and how to look at how to look at things. I forgot where I was going with that, but like yeah, it's I've been. Do you like to do you like to read?
I so I've been into audiobooks recently. I want to
Okay,
pick up like a physical book again. I haven't, I feel so bad, but I haven't read an actual book in so long. Like I don't know what it is, like everything being on our phones now or like whatever, but it's I don't know. I will say on the sobriety or the no nicotine thing, I was never a smoker. I did drink. I haven't had a drink in like 3 years. Never had a problem with it. I just decided to drop it one day. It kind of coincided with me going to the gym because I picked up the
yeah,
gym really heavy and I was like, okay, why am I going to the gym and then going like having a drink at dinner or like going to the bar? Like it seems counterintuitive. So and like
yeah,
or like when I'm DJing, I would have a couple drinks. Like people give you shots, whatever it is,
yeah,
and it's just kind of part of the nightlife, you know. And I thought about it, and I was like, it's not really doing anything for me. So I quit it about like 3 years ago, and so like now I feel like it's extra extra tough in the social situations sometimes like if you are wanting to meet people and go out and like be in these environments because I'm like one
mhm.
of the only sober ones a lot of the time, you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. And that's what I've noticed. There's a lot of people in the Austin scene that are just rolling around. They're throwing shows or managing a bar, and if they drank all the time, they'd probably like be very unhealthy. So they live in that world, and it makes a lot of sense that the more if you want to be around that more. You know what a health check it looks like when you go take it, like they're asking you questions like how many times do you drink a week? When you drink, how many drinks do you have? Like, these are important questions and it made me think, you like, how many times you gonna drink every week? Oh wow. Well they're looking at that. You're getting a bad test score
Right.
on your health checkup if you're drinking every week. Um, when you drink, do you drink more than four drinks or something, or more than three? Is it more like five or six? Then, it's bad on your test score,
And like I feel like it because we're in nightlife, it becomes so normalized. You know what I mean? Like you're around it all the
Mm,
time. Some people don't think of it, or like you work in a bar, like you said, or like you know manage a bar, whatever it is. You're around alcohol all the time. It's normal to just knock a few back every night. And it's like, hang on,
yeah,
like slow down for a second. Like what is this really doing? You know?
yeah. And that's why, like, I mean, it is really fun to go out and have your gig and be out with the friends and you're having a shot with them. You go on stage, maybe bring a water on stage. And Yeah, that is really fun. And that's why I like having a gig a month. I mean, you know, I don't know if the test score would be too bad if it said I had 2 or 3 drinks once a month. Like that would be that sounds fine to
Yeah,
me.
that's
Uh,
manageable.
that seems manageable. But I think when it comes back to like I keep this year I was trying to figure out what do I like. What is it always circled back down to? Like, oh, I want more gigs. Circles back to better music. Oh, I want to be on a bigger record label. Circles back to better music. I want to I want a better or I want a big artist to sign on PH7
Mhm.
Records. Comes back to the music that we release and some of the music that I make. Who am I as an artist? And so I've been very fueled to focus on, I think I mean like one thing. It's like how do we focus on more than one thing? Does it really work? Um, can you focus on more than one thing at a time?
It depends.
You
Like
get to accomplish, yeah,
it
right. I
depends.
know.
Like if I am like multitasking on something, I'm probably giving, not 50-50, but like you're not giving your all to one thing. You know what I mean? You're kind of
Yeah.
splitting your what you're capable of if you're doing a couple things at once. You know what I mean? You're like what
Yeah.
so it's I don't know, it's
Like
tough.
you can't say like I want to finish this song today and then like 20 minutes after you start writing, you start making this content idea that you thought could be good
Yeah.
and then you spent like an hour making the content idea like um the focus like I feel like it does matter to make good content, very consistently too. Um but so many things can be distracting. I feel like when I'm trying to like focus on getting this thing done. I get if content's that thing, let's get that content done. But it's like when the intrusive things come in when I'm trying to get this one thing done, um, that's tough.
I feel like um I lost my train of thought. Um I feel like that can be good for short-term ideas or like brainstorming or like drafting stuff. But then when you're really wanting to polish something or fix something up, you really got to lock in, and
Yeah,
like focus on that one
yeah,
thing and make it the best that it can be and then move on to the next thing. But like if you're
yeah.
super inspired or like you have a lot of ideas, it can be good to like jot down three or four things and like just knock out really quick things and then go back and
Mhm.
fix them up later.
That is good. Yeah, doing the kind of like making a list,
Hmm.
doing a brain dump off to the side so that you can keep on going. Yeah, I think one thing I really do care about this year is like my workflow. And even outlining workflow for others to even learn to like you go in like how long should you spend on like what steps should you take in setting up your track? Give yourself a couple MIDIs, give yourself a couple audios. Do you start writing your track in MIDI? Do you use MIDI to set up your kicks, or are you going to write it in audio
Hmm.
and pull in samples and all of these like how much time are you going to spend on building your drums and your bass? Okay, you get to a point in writing and your bass it's taking you like 20 minutes and you can't figure out an arrangement. Well, what do you do in your process? Do you kind of just sit there and just kind of like bang your head, or do you, what's the if this then what? Then if 20 minutes, then you go to a different instrument,
Right.
and you just keep that workflow going until you come to a stopping point. And if you're at 20 minutes at stopping point, you've tried all the instruments, that's when I know that I hope I have something finished at that point. It's kind of defeating when I don't, but you kind of just let go of it and go do something else.
That made me think it's so cool. Like, not only are you a DJ and a producer, you have your label and you're interested in the marketing and the creative side of it. So
always.
you're kind of it's all encompassing, and having all those avenues of experience and having been through the process so many times as you have been, that gives an artist that's going to sign to you such a like you're able to help them along the way if they need like or at least give
Mm-hmm.
perspective because you've been in all these situations yourself, and I think that's
Mm-hmm.
really big. And I wanted you to talk to me about Amplify Evolve. That's the
Oh
artist
yeah.
development. We haven't touched on that yet. Um,
No, yeah.
Honestly, that's something that I wasn't even aware you were doing. I don't think the last time I spoke to you, I was aware of that. So I would love to learn about it and see how that ties in to having all those different avenues of creativity and how that helps artist development and you being able to facilitate that.
Yeah, man. That was very recently that I got into that program, and I was inspired when I saw what Kay was doing, and we kind of partnered up. She was doing marketing and mindset, coaching and branding, and setting up really people's profiles and their branding and their emails and marketing and stuff. And mine was I came in and I wanted to give production advice and promotion and release advice on how to release music since I did it so many times, and just lay of the land and record labels in different genres, and what really matters for these venues, and kind of like where it makes sense to invest their time and money and efforts, which is a lot of strategy and decisions that you go into writing music. And you know, so be it that it's taken me 5, 6 years to, figure what I have out. I still have a lot to figure out, but I feel like I've figured out a whole lot so far. And so it's kind of inspired me to, make a course. And so I made a couple tutorials to put them on YouTube, and I want to make, a course, like a 10 track, a 10 video course, and walk people through different concepts, and, starting up to, by the end of it, you understand, how to use Ableton, and, how to arrange, certain elements like your drums and your bass and a melody, and how to set things up. And I think that piece of information, although it may be simple, it was stuff that if you start from a blank screen and you just start showing where everything goes, it's almost like, oh wow, that's where those things go. I remember that when it clicked, those things clicked for me.
Mm-hmm. It's
So
been it feels simple to us because we've been at it for a while, but to somebody just starting out, it can be very overwhelming and intimidating.
100%, 100%. So you just start, you know, measuring things out, and you're like, this is where these things go, and you place it in, and you start to it's cool. I started to get a lot of ideas when I started to work with Amplify Evolve. And so that program is an artist development. We meet twice a month on Wednesdays, I believe, at night, and it is a group of artists spread from Austin, Dallas, and I think one from Houston. Um, but yeah, it's a bunch in Austin, and I would love that group to expand. But Kay has two programs, one for Evolve, where it's this group at like I don't know what level you would call it, because there's artists of all levels in this group. But it's a group that is a resource bank for each other. And Kay designs a bunch of development type of, forms and work, that activities that we can fill out and do as a group, so that we continuously are thinking about our goals and our KPIs and things, um, that we want to be held accountable for. So it's a good group for that as well. But yeah, I'm trying to offer them one-on-ones and tutorials. So it's a new thing for me, and I'm really I'm really learning a lot from it.
That's
A
awesome,
lot of
man. And I'm sure it gives you a sense of I can't think of the word. Like yeah,
gratification or
I
like
mean just being able to provide for people that are just getting started and be a mentor, you know, and be in that teaching role because that's something very different than we might be used to, as artists. But again, another way to give back to the community. Now, with all you have going on, I mean, we've talked about it over the last hour. What does a good week look like for you? Do you schedule things out? Are you like, okay, if you hit this and this and this? Or like, are you just like, as long as I have my breakfast and like go on a run, like whatever else is good, like what's what's that for you?
I that's a great question. Because as I said earlier, that I'm a very rhythmic, routine type of person. So, yeah, I really do. I think the best mornings, my favorite routine is getting up at about, 4:30 and getting to the gym by 5. Or getting to the gym by 5:30 so that I can work out from 5:30 to 6:30. Then I can go and get a run in right after that, and I can get back by like, 7:30 or so. And then I can eat breakfast and get myself ready for the office, and then I'll go into the office. I'll only work till like 3, and
Mm,
then I'll be off by 3, and then I'll come straight home. And not every day I go into the office, so maybe that day I just start working from home, and then I'd be done by 3. And it is amazing getting off at 3. There's a lot of day left when from 3 p.m. to like, and if you've already worked out and got your way to make, money and
hmm
live like out the way for the day, then you can just focus on this other project. It is wearing different hats in the day. I feel like it's like I'm taking care of myself, I'm wearing one hat, and I'm doing it in this cadence so that I can wear this hat in time and have enough time for this hat. And maybe I need to wear this hat all the way through the night, or I have enough time to switch hats into like, and that's why I put the podcast down for a minute,
hmm
just to give myself some breath and focus on saddling up, sending demos out, making music, and honestly getting other songs ready for because we have some releases lined up March, April, May. And I think I'll release in June and July at the 2 song a month cadence. After that, I did just send a newsletter out saying that we were going to slow it down after May,
mm
but I might continue that since we do have some sitting demos that were already accepted. And so I want to follow through there. And so but at PH7, I do think that we're going to like slow down next year to just
mm
7 songs in a
Wow,
year.
that's
Um,
different for you guys.
I know. And they'll be very intentional. Um, they'll probably take some plan. I'll probably have to like cutting off like the rest of the year maybe, or maybe even just releasing 2 in the rest of the year. I'm gonna have to start planning for next year.
hmm
Once I hit like July, or August, it always comes in. You start planning for the next year. Otherwise, it gets to December. You don't have anything planned for January, February, March,
Right.
then you're not getting started till March.
Right. It's I mean, stuff's always moving. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah, yeah,
constantly
all this stuff it is.
constantly going.
Absolutely.
But at the same time,
Be fluid.
yeah, but like you mentioned with the hats, I feel like it's all about sustainability and doing it in a fashion where you can do it for as long as
Oh
possible and making it work for
yeah,
you. So like getting up early in the morning, going to the gym, and then being able to like get that out of the way so you can go to work so that you can come back and like work on a different project or your own music and it's very like intentional like you said. So I don't know. I think it's
and I have more control when I'm there
yeah.
in that space. I'm like, oh, I don't really like, this is just, this is not nicotine. This is something else. And but like I have more control about like different things, like and I I chase the healthy habit in the day. If I just start my routine in the day, but when I'm a little lazier, when I'm not in routine, like it is a bit different. Like, it's in those moments that, like what if I wanted to start up and I didn't go run? Like, can I
Hmm.
just get up and just get right to making music and like have good habits?
Hmm.
I should be really capable of that. And as we all grow older, we try to, what do they say about healthy habits? Time's on your side when you're chasing healthy habits. When you're having bad habits, time feels like it's fleeting, so time's not on your side.
Yeah,
It feels like you're running out of time to like, drop the bad habit.
that's right. So 2026 is the year of healthy habits,
Yes.
sustainability, doing things with intention, working on that
Yeah.
project, working on new music, slowing down, doing things, putting effort into things, not multitasking and doing 50-50 on something, going all in on something, doing it with intention. Um,
Oh yeah.
that's what's next for Donpairion and
I-
moving forward. Man, that's awesome. I think that's a very healthy place to be at, Like we've both been in like the go mindset, but like being able to look back at it and know that that was great, but like being able to put something out with care is really important too.
Right. Because you got to create your boundaries for yourself, and like we're all trying to like be loving and growing together. And we're always changing too. And I think being surrounded by people that allow you to grow and change and be who you are, I think is important. Because sometimes when you're changing, there's friction to those around you that aren't changing with you or growing with you. So, yeah, man, I love what you're doing, man, with the record label and doing these podcasts now. This you said the fifth one, I think you said.
Yep.
And so I love the structure that you're creating. It's awesome.
Thank you, man. I'm trying. It's cool. I'm just going where the inspiration takes me and just doing what feels genuine. That's what it's all about.
Yes, yes, the genuine it when you are genuine, it's a lot easier to be inspired because you're just kind of in a state of, yeah, being genuine is a little vulnerable
Hmm.
in a sense. Like and everybody like no one wants to take advantage or be mean to someone being vulnerable. They're like, "Oh wow, this guy's really genuine," So
I think so too,
um,
but I think that doing it in that way also makes it easier to do. Like if you're doing something because you're inspired to do it, it's easy to do. It doesn't feel like a chore either, which is why like I love doing these. I love working on music,
yes.
working on my sets, like whatever it might be. If it's calling to me at the moment, it's
Hmm.
I can do it all day. You know what I mean? And it's not an
Yeah.
issue. It doesn't feel like work. It's just another day doing what I love doing, which is what it's all about, you know?
Yeah. 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 Do you ever think about like, how am I gonna like find the next person to interview?
Um, thankfully, I haven't had that issue because I have been lucky enough to make a lot of friends in this industry, and I
Is
feel like
yeah,
I can text people like you all day, and they're like, "Dude, yeah, I'll talk to you for an hour." Like, of course, we need to catch up. I haven't talked to you, in however long. So like, it hasn't been that tough. I'm sure maybe at one point I'll like run out of ideas, but thankfully this is fresh enough right now where like I'm not having that issue. Um,
yeah,
I
yeah.
haven't thought about like how the frequency of these podcasts. I'm just kind of winging it. Just whenever somebody has a free day, I'll record one kind of thing. So we'll
Yeah,
see. But
yeah,
again, it's just a fun talk, a hang with a friend. I don't really want it to feel like an interview. I want to be able to like catch up with a friend and also give them a platform for like maybe somebody's not familiar with you and now they know what you're about, you know?
yeah. I like that. Yeah,
Well,
that's awesome.
on that note, where can people find you? Where can they look you up and see your stuff?
Yeah, at Don Pair Ion, pair of ions, Pairion. So yeah, Don Perion music on Instagram, and on yeah, YouTube. You can find TH7 Records. Um, if you look that up, we have a page where we post. We've posted podcasts, we've posted music, and we post tutorials as well. So trying to build that YouTube page out as well. Really fun stuff there.
100%. And that's a whole other rabbit hole to go down, but we'll save that for
I
another
know.
day.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I know. Everything's you gotta choose something, right? One
Absolutely.
thing, one step at a time.
Absolutely. Don, thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate your time. It's been a great conversation, a lot of cool insights, and we'll have to do it again soon for sure.
Absolutely. And dude, Rafi, thank you so much for having me.
Anytime, man.